Leah Allen. I am running for Lieutenant Governor, teaming up with Jeff Deal, who wishes that he could be here tonight, but unfortunately he was having a scheduling conflict with something that was scheduled prior, so he sends his regards, and I wish that he was here as well so that everyone could meet him. But thank you so much for hosting us. I will just jump right in, tell you a little bit about myself. I am a registered nurse by trade. I worked the front lines during the pandemic, even while pregnant, and I saw a lot of what went on during the pandemic. I looked around and saw the heavy-handed mandates from the government. I saw the fact that they were closing our small businesses. 43% of small businesses in Massachusetts closed under COVID, and they have yet to reopen. They need some strong support from the governor's office to be able to do that. I saw, the big box stores were able to stay open. There was a huge wealth transfer from the middle class to the highest, billionaires in the country. And I just thought that, there was other data out there about the pandemic. Nobody was taking a look at it. They were taking all their marching orders directly from the CDC, even after other studies were coming out saying that, there was other ways that we could combat this pandemic. And it's coming out now that, the masks on the children, which was a terrible thing, isolating our children, putting masks on them in schools. I think there's a huge psychological toll that's been taken on these kids that we won't know for quite some time, and I want to make sure that that never happens again. I'm a mother of two. My kids are too small to be in school now, but if we don't stand up and do something now, then it's going to be even worse by the time they get to school. We might not get the chance to take it back. I think that the pandemic opened a lot of eyes. I think people through remote learning were able to see kind of what was happening in the schools, and while everyone was busy living their lives and raising their families, they probably thought that the government for the most part was doing the right thing while they were living their lives, and we found out that that definitely wasn't the case. We need to expose what they're trying to do with our kids and the far left progressive agendas in their curriculum. I think we need to make sure that their mental health is being protected. I am actually really excited for this November. I think Republicans are going to do exceptionally well in Massachusetts. There's a huge voting bloc that I think we're tapping into, and that is parents who are finally engaged and fighting for their children, and they know that we're fighting for their children as well, and also the many people who were affected by the vaccine mandates who felt that they had no choice but to take that experimental shot or lose their jobs, or if, like me, they stood up against it and were terminated. I was, like I said, pregnant during the time that the mandates took effect. I wasn't comfortable taking the shot. There's not enough long-term data on it. I'm not anti-vaccine, I'm just anti-mandate in order to keep your job. And I think that, one of the things that drew me to Jeff Deal running for governor, besides the fact that we served together in the legislature, I was elected as a state rep when I was 24. I served with Jeff Deal, and I always found him to be an honest, genuine person who wasn't afraid to stand up for what was right, even if it didn't make him many friends. And I think that now more than ever, we need that. And one of his policies that attracted me to his campaign was the fact that he said on day one, he would restore all the jobs of the state troopers and the state workers who lost their jobs over these mandates. And day two, to inspire everyone who thought that was a good idea. So I was definitely on board with that. I think I can bring a unique perspective to this race as a registered nurse who served on the front lines. The Democrats are already kind of tiptoeing around the idea of bringing back COVID restrictions, bringing back mandates and things like that, and I think we have to really stand up and be strong against that. We need strong conservative leadership in the corner office. Our legislature is getting more and more progressive by the day, and we need someone who's not afraid to stand up and fight against that and to fight for us and for our children and for the future of Massachusetts. I'm in this race for our freedoms, for our constitutional liberties, and for our children, my children included, because there's nothing more important than protecting them and ensuring that they have a great future. Things like inflation, we can talk about the state budget and the fact that the Democrats are completely out of touch. We're bringing in billions of dollars over projected revenues, and they're not willing to give the taxpayers a single break when it comes to the gas tax, when it comes to getting any of their tax dollars back. They're doing things like voting to raise raise the salaries of judges. So with that, I will